Yeah.
Shout out to Drake putting up numbers. Speaking of numbers, as a podcast, I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't shout out Gillie and Wallo. They got a deal reportedly for like 100 M's at Barstool Sports, Barstool Media,
Yes.
for $1 million worth of game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
$100 million
they
worth of
confirmed. If it was 100
that's
million,
just the number floating around,
that's the
right?
number floating
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
But I'm sure they landed somewhere in that ballpark for their podcast. $100 million. Shout out to them. Black owned. They own all of their
Look at
IP.
them all.
They own all of it,
Yeah.
and their family,
I
their
didn't know
cousin.
that actually. I didn't know
Yeah,
they
own
own
it.
that.
They own all of their
Salute to them.
product. Yeah.
Salute
So
to them.
shout out to those guys, man. I think
Hey,
it's always a win when a podcast, especially a black podcast, a
know that.
podcast of color, reaches those kind of lengths when you see it from the ground up.
Devon,
So,
Devon
yeah.
said, "How many more podcasts we got to put out to get there?" That's the look on his face right now.
Yeah, is the number is floating around is 100 million.
That's the shit that's
at
floating
Barstool.
around.
Yeah. So I figured,
And I hope they cleared it too. Word. I hope they
and
cleared
even if it isn't 100 million, the fact that
So what?
that's in
Yeah.
the conversation,
Absolutely.
we gotta salute them for that too.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
Couldn't agree more.
shout out to Gillie and Wallo.
Yeah, man.
Dope podcast too. Dope product. Dope everything.
100 million?
Yeah,
100
between two
M's,
people.
boy.
Yeah,
Shout out to Gillie, man. That's a good comeback.
that's an amazing comeback.
Yeah.
See, this is why when these milestones happen in podcasting,
Mhm.
we have to pay attention because, podcasting
Yeah.
is
Value.
going to
Yeah.
take music over, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it.
Surely, shortly
It's gonna
but slowly.
pack. It's gonna pack music up, bro.
Slowly but surely.
We'll always have music. I'm not saying it's going
We're always
anywhere,
gonna have music. Yeah.
but it's gonna pack music
you know,
up, bro.
hey, my aha moment this week. I said, "Damn, a lot of my favorite artists have podcasts. R&B, a couple rappers." And again, we've known this, but I just feel like subconsciously we've just like, oh yeah, so and so has a podcast. Oh yeah, Tank and so and so has a podcast.
Athletes.
Oh yeah, Fat Joe has a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But then when you actually get the time to sit down and you go, whoa, these people are adequate in what they do in their field, and they still incorporate this.
Mhm.
Okay.
They have relationships. They have experience.
Okay.
One of my favorite things to do is on a Sunday night, I'll watch. I believe it's Richard Sherman. He
Oh,
has a podcast, and
nice.
he recaps all of the games
Oh,
the
man.
day of the game.
That must be good.
So I don't gotta wait till Monday morning to get the coverage. I don't gotta hear anything from a guy I don't know or who never played the store.
Genius.
Like
Yeah.
every single Sunday night, a Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame, Super Bowl winning player
Absolutely.
who I see, who I can relate to,
Who can
because-
read things.
who can read it and just talks the game,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
break it down that same night. And so I think the podcast space is an amazing
See,
space.
and that's why I've gotten really big and I'm starting to really discover on niche podcasting
Mm-hmm.
and why it is so important and powerful. Because I think people try to create podcasts that are so like, oh, this is for everybody.
Right.
And no,
No,
I just
yeah.
feel like it's time
I see
for
what you're saying.
podcasts to start finding in their audience. Like I'm talking to
because
this,
everybody's in it now.
everybody's in it now.
Interesting point,
And the
Dev.
podcast listener is
Okay.
growing.
Okay.
Like as far as who is starting to, like my mom is getting into it. I'm seeing older people starting to get into it. When I go
Right,
into certain
right.
cars, I'm hearing podcasts,
Podcasts.
not
Yeah,
music.
Not music.
So when I look at that, I'm starting to even get into a space where we're developing content here at HMD. Like, all right, let's make another show. And I'm looking for niche content. I'm not looking for anything macro, looking
Evergreen.
for really evergreen and niche stuff because that's literally where this industry is going. Bro, podcasting is going to be worth more.
Absolutely.
Get it? Because
That-
I think about an artist what artist right now, right, can get $100 million for their catalog?
Look, Future just sold his original catalog up until I think his last album for about 75 mil.
So so think about that level, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then think about Wallo and Gillie getting $100 million. So in my head, I'm like, oh, so they're a little bit above Future in a sense of their content.
value.
I see what you're saying.
Just value.
Value.
Yeah.
You know what I
see what
mean?
you're saying,
I'm
yeah.
looking at like
I
that
see-
standpoint. I'm like,
That's a good
whoa.
point because look how much music Future had to sell
For
to get
years.
70 right for years to get 75
75
M's
mil, right.
as opposed to how many podcast episodes they put out to get that maybe 100 M's.
And then
Wow.
also, it's a deal,
Interesting.
which means that
Yeah.
I could re-up and get another deal.
Yeah.
Future doesn't have another catalog.
That's a one time.
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
a fact.
Yeah.
Future,
Yeah.
That's a
Future,
buyout.
Future.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
He
a
gave up
one-time.
everything.
Yeah.
Now you got to recreate that value in whatever new catalog you get.
Hey.
And it's always hard to recreate that same value. That you know what I'm saying?
And not for
10,
nothing.
15 years of your work.
Absolutely. And musicians, like I heard a lot of musicians on Future's level that were okay with that number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that
wow,
makes sense.
right.
That makes sense to me.
Yes.
Yeah, DJ Mustard.
For
A lot
sure.
of people sold their catalog. Listen, when that was going around, I sold some of my catalog. I'm gonna be honest
And
with you.
podcast is about to start calling musicians broke boys.
Come on. Come on.
Not yet, because you know what it is? Because once podcasts start getting really good with the show aspect, once we figure
it's a
out
wrap.
that space, it's fucking
Like
over.
the walkthrough. Like a podcaster need to be able to like walk through the club.
Nah, word. We
Nah,
should
for
be
real. We have to figure the club out.
Nah, I'm
we
with
have
him.
to figure
Can I
out
be
a
honest with
recre-
you?
What?
He's right.
The day
Recreational.
I see that,
Let's beat them niggas.
It's gonna happen.
We just,
the world is
all we gotta do is pop up the Magic City, bro.